song, better song. Okay, so like you just listened to, I just played 2 songs. The first one, Fix You by Coldplay, probably had you feeling more sad and melancholy feeling, and the second one, September, which is a great song, probably had you feeling more happy and feel like dancing and reminiscing about the 21st night of September. No matter what you felt, the point is you felt something, because music has this outstanding ability to change and affect the way we feel. And it happens every day, and we don't even notice like how big its impact is, but it could happen when you're working out and you're running and you feel like you're about to pass out and you don't even know how you're going, and you feel like you have 40-pound ankle weights strapped to your legs, and then all of a sudden something happens and the song changes. And for whatever reason, it could be the beat in the song, the bass in the song, or the lyrics, but for whatever reason, now you feel like you could run 3 marathons. And the only thing that changed from when you felt like you were gonna pass out to now is the song. And the coolest thing about music is you can't even hold it or see it. It's just something you hear, and yet it changes us instantly. And not only can music change and affect the way we feel, but it has these great medical benefits that so many people don't know about. With Alzheimer's patients, it can help them recall more information and be more present and engaging in the moment. And then people who suffer from mental illness such as anxiety or depression, it can help them calm down and kind of give them an escape. People hear Alzheimer's and they automatically assume like, oh, that person's lost all their memory, which is true, it's a major part of it, but having Alzheimer's can also result in impaired thinking, disorientation, and mood swings. But the thing about their moods is it's more of like darker moods, like being agitated or angry. And it affects 2 parts of the brain, the hippocampus and the entorhinal cortex, which I totally butchered. But these are 2 major parts of the brain, otherwise Alzheimer's wouldn't affect us. But the way music is able to get through to people who suffer from Alzheimer's is because music affects 7 parts of the brain. It affects and stimulates our auditory cortex, which is like where we hear. And it affects our cerebrum and our cerebellum, and then it engages and stimulates something called the limbic system, which includes the amygdala, the hippocampus, the hypothalamus, and the thalamus. And the cool thing about the limbic system is that this is what controls our emotions in our brain. So that's why music is so heavily tethered to the way we feel. So researchers came up with this concept, something called music therapy. And what music therapy is a patient who suffers from Alzheimer's will be created a playlist that's tailored specifically to them. So if you grew up with 70s music, you're not going to listen to today's hip hop. You would listen to music that you like. And what happens is once they listen to it, they're able to kind of be more in the moment, and they're able to recall more information. So, the video that I'm about to show you focuses on a specific person named Carol Daly, and she's 74 years old, and she's had Alzheimer's for about 6 years. And this specific research group who has been conducting the music therapy experiment has kind of tracked her progress and decline. And they've done this by asking her questions and interviewing over the 6 years. And they've just asked her like normal questions that you would ask anybody, and they're not hard, they're not like math problems. But what they've noticed is that in the beginning, when she was younger and just got diagnosed with Alzheimer's, she's able to recall more and she's able to answer them right away. But as time goes on and she gets worse with her disease, you notice that she is relying on her husband to either answer more of the questions or she just doesn't know them. And also, she's kind of a lot more quieter, and that's because, like I said before, when you have a memory disorder, kind of more angry. And it's not at a person directly, it's because you're so trapped in your head and you're so confused, and you don't know why you forget these things, and you kind of take it out on the world. And so I'm going to show you the video now.
Family and friends create the playlist. Cohn says the headphones help eliminate distractions.
Just laugh.
She said pretender exactly as it said pretender.
Yes.
So she's on the beat.
Since the music we love is really tied to our emotional system, and our emotional system is still very much intact, that's what we're connecting, and that's what still works.
Emotional for Mike Daly as well.
Yeah, it's more than I can deal with, I can handle.
It's poignant. Is it a good poignant?
Yes, it's knowing that she hasn't lost it all.
And now you're looking at me right in my eyes.
Right. So a couple takeaways from the video. Obviously, the man in the glasses, not her husband, but he even says, she says pretender right as the song says pretender, which is something we take for granted all the time, being able to sing like the words to songs and know them. Because I'm sure we've all gotten in our car and we've like turned on the radio and a song that's played all the time comes on and you're like, oh, like this song's so overplayed. But being able to know the words to songs and be able to sing them on the beat, on time, is something so hard for someone who suffers from a memory disorder. So it's so amazing, and it shows how well music works for someone with Alzheimer's. And another thing is her husband, the man in yellow, Mike Daly, says she hasn't lost it at all. Now this is someone who's been married to her for 50 plus years, and he's also seen her decline like every day. He's the only person that knows how bad it's gotten. So for him to see the improvement listening to music has made in that moment goes to show how great music therapy works. And another thing was that the man who's not pictured here says, she's looking at me in my eyes. And that is something really hard for people with Alzheimer's because you forget a lot of people. So that's why in the interviews, Carol Daly relied on her husband to answer the questions. Like she wasn't looking at anyone, she was kind of just keeping to herself. So the fact that she's engaging with people and also singing goes to show how well the music really works. Depression and anxiety, you know, those are other ones where you hear the name and you automatically think you know everything about it. But depression and anxiety, people hear depression, they think, oh, they're sad all the time, and you hear anxiety, you think, oh, they're really stressed, which is true, but depression and anxiety have a lot of overlaying symptoms because 1 in 2 people who have depression also have anxiety. And now symptoms can include overeating or undereating, and then oversleeping or kind of being a bit of an insomniac and not getting enough sleep, or lashing out and having these mood swings. So sometimes when we're tired or we're stressed out, we come home and we like immediately want to go to sleep or do whatever that makes us feel better. So for someone who lives like this on a day-to-day life, it's really hard for them. And so they're constantly looking to have a moment of clarity. And music is able to give that to them because music calms them down. And also music is able to be kind of a safe place for them because sometimes it's hard when you're going through something like this to convey your feelings in words. And we all have that sometimes when we're sad and we don't really know why. We don't really want to talk about it. We just need something, not to make us feel better, but just to be there with us. And music is that for people with anxiety and depression. Because a lot of them don't like therapy because it's really hard for people to say like what's exactly bothering them because it's a disease and it's not always something that you can pinpoint. So music is able to be there for patients and kind of just help them have a moment of clarity. So next time you're listening to music or you're dancing in your room, like we all do, no matter if you admit it or not, think about what's really going on in your brain. Think about all the parts of the brain that are being engaged right now because music is so underrated and it's not given enough credit for what it does because it can help people who have lost almost all their memory be able to recall something as simple as words to songs. It can help people with mental illness such as depression and anxiety feel better, which is something that they don't feel so often. Thank you.